My sister died on her 25th birthday, and her diary said if I die, check Sophie's phone. Sophie is my best friend, also my husband's ex-girlfriend when the police called that night. I thought it was a prank. Ellie wasn't supposed to die young. She was the responsible one, the planner, the girl who color-coded her closet and meal prepped on Sundays. They said she fell from her apartment balcony after a birthday celebration. An accident. Too much champagne. Such a tragedy. I didn't cry at first. My body just shut down like someone had unplugged me from reality. My husband Nate drove us to her apartment while I stared out the window, rain streaking down the glass like the tears I couldn't yet shed. She was fine when I texted her this morning, I whispered. We were supposed to have dinner tomorrow. Nate squeezed my hand. I know. Liv, I am so sorry. When we arrived, the police had already cordoned off her balcony. Yellow tape fluttered in the night breeze. An officer escorted us inside, explaining they needed someone to identify personal effects. Her apartment looked normal, almost eerily so. A half-empty champagne glass on the coffee table, Bursic cards arranged neatly on her mantle. No signs of a struggle. Was she alone? I asked. The officer hesitated. We believe so. Neighbors heard music earlier but no voices. Sophie called while we were there, her voice breaking with sobs I just heard. Oh my god, Olivia, I can't believe it. Where are you? I asked. Home. I was supposed to meet her tomorrow for brunch. A pause. I should have been there tonight. Something in her tone felt off, but grief distorts everything. I hung up and helped the officer catalog Ellie's belongings, her purse, keys, phone. The phone was passcode protected and I didn't know the code. That's when I saw her leather-bound journal peeking out from under the sofa. Ellie had kept diaries since we were kids. I slipped it into my bag without thinking, needing something of hers to hold on to back home. I couldn't sleep. Nate finally drifted off around 4 a.m., his arm draped protectively around my waist. I carefully moved his hand and crept downstairs with Ellie's journal. The most recent entry was dated 3 days ago. I know what they did. I finally have proof. Sophie thinks she's so clever, but I've been watching. It's all connected. The business trips, the deleted texts, the money. If this goes wrong, if anything happens to me, here's a backup. If I die, check Sophie's phone. The password is in the lining of the purple jewelry box she gave me for Christmas. My hands started shaking. What did Sophie have on her phone? What proof was Ellie talking about? And why would she even consider the possibility of dying? I read the entry again, my mind racing. Ellie and Sophie had always been cordial but never close. Sophie had dated Nate all through college before they broke up and he and I got together. That was 6 years ago. I took out my phone and stared at Sophie's contact. My best friend since high school, maid of honor at my wedding. The person who introduced me to Nate after they broke up, saying we'd be perfect together. The purple jewelry box was still in Ellie's apartment. I needed to go back tomorrow. My phone buzzed with a text. Coming over early tomorrow. We need to talk about Ellie. I glanced at Nate, sleeping peacefully beside me, then back at the journal entry. If I die, check Sophie's phone. What did my sister know that got her killed? The next morning, Sophie arrived before I'd even made coffee. Her eyes were puffy, hair pulled into a messy bun, the uniform of grief. She hugged me tightly at the door. I still can't believe it, she whispered. Did they tell you anything else? I studied her face, searching for wet sings of guilt. Knowledge, just that it was an accident. They're saying she'd been drinking. Nate appeared in the hallway, eyes bloodshot from crying. Sophie's gaze flickered to him momentarily. Something passed between them, so brief I almost missed it. I need to go back to her apartment, I said. Want to come with me? Sophie hesitated. I don't know if I can handle it yet. I'll go with you, Nate offered. No, I said too quickly. I mean, I need to do this alone first. At Ellie's apartment, the police had removed the tape unfatied. Everything remained untouched, a time capsule of my sister's last moments. I went straight to her bedroom, found the purple jewelry box on her dresser. My fingers trembled as I peeled back the satin lining. There it was, a small slip of paper with a 6-digit code, 452,891. Growing up, Ellie had always been my protector, 4 years older and infinitely wiser. When our parents divorced, she was the one who explained why Dad left, who held me when I cried. But in recent years, we drifted apart. She'd become more secretive, especially after I married Nate. We're just different people now, she'd say whenever I suggested getting together. At the time, I'd attributed it to her demanding job as a financial analyst. Now I wondered if there was more. As I searched her apartment, I noticed oddities. Her laptop was missing. Several photos that had been on her wall, including one of her Sophie and me from college, were gone. In her bathroom trash, I found shredded documents, impossible to piece together. My phone rang. Nate. Everything okay? You've been gone a while. Just saying goodbye, I lied. I'll be home soon. Take your time. Sophie left, by the way, said she needed to be alone. Perfect timing. I needed to search Sophie's apartment while she was out. As I closed Ellie's bathroom door, something caught my eye. A tiny splash of red on the white tile floor near the bathtub. I knelt down, touched it with my finger. It was dry but unmistakable. The police report mentioned nothing about injuries before the fall. I took a photo with my phone, heart pounding, back in Ellie's bedroom. I rifled through her nightstand, finding an unlabeled USB drive taped to the bottom drawer. I pocketed it, then noticed a business card tucked into her mirror frame. Detective Marcus Reed with a cell number scrawled on the back. My phone buzzed with a text from Sophie. Where are you? Tried calling. Coming back to your place soon. I took one last look around, feeling Ellie's presence everywhere. My big sister who taught me to ride a bike, who threatened my high school bullies, who gave the most painfully honest advice even when I didn't want to hear it. I'll find out what happened, I whispered. I promise. On my way out, I spotted a neighbor struggling with groceries, an elderly woman who'd lived across the hall for years. Oh, Olivia dear, I am so sorry about Ellie. Such a tragedy. Thank you, Mrs. Patel. Were you home that night? She nodded sadly. I heard voices. Raging, I almost called the building manager. My blood ran cold. What time was this? Around 10, I think. A man and a woman. Then silence and that terrible scream later, voices fraying. The police said she was alone. Someone was lying. I waited until Sophie left before plugging the USB drive into my laptop. My hands trembled as files populated the screen, hundreds of spirant, audio recordings, and text documents, all meticulously organized into folders with dates. I clicked on the most recent file, an audio recording from 3 days before Ellie died. I know what you are doing, Ellie's voice, tense but controlled. The transfers, the fake accounts, I found everything. A man's voice responded, muffled but familiar. You don't understand. It's not what you think. I understand perfectly, Ellie replied. I'm giving you one chance to make this right, or I go to the police. The recording ended abruptly. I played it again, trying to identify the male voice. It could be Nate, but I couldn't be certain. My phone buzzed, a text from Sophie. Miss you dinner tomorrow, just us girls. Perfect opportunity, I replied. Yes, please, my place, 7 p.m. Next, I called the detective whose card I'd found. Detective Reed, a gruff voice answered. My name is Olivia Chen. You knew my sister Ellie? Silence then. Miss Chen, I am sorry for your loss. Your sister contacted me about 2 weeks ago. ago. My heart raced about what I think we should meet in person. Tomorrow 2 p.m. at Riverside. Really, I'll be there that night. While Nate showered, I searched our home office. Nothing seemed suspicious until I checked the printer. History documents had been printed at 2 a.m. the night Ellie died. Nate claimed he'd been in bed beside me all night. In his desk drawer, I found a receipt from a hotel bar dated the night of Ellie's death. The timestamp read 10:15 p.m. When Nate emerged from the shower, I studied him. My husband of 3 years, the man who held me through panic attacks, who brought me tea when I was sick, who talked about having children someday. You okay? He asked, noticing my stare, just thinking about Ellie. I said, remember when she gave that embarrassing speech at our wedding? He laughed, but it didn't reach his eyes. How could I forget? She practically warned you against marrying me? That wasn't what she meant, I said. Though now I wondered she never liked me, Nate said, his voice hardening slightly. Not after Sophie and I broke up. That's not true, I countered, though Ellie had indeed been wary of him. She was just protective, too protective, he muttered. Worrying's in everyone's business. The edge in his voice startled me. Before I could respond, his phone chimed with a text. He angled it away as he checked it. Work, he explained, though it was nearly midnight. On Saturday, the Miller account. Deadlines Monday. He kissed my forehead, coming to bed. I nodded, watching him leave. Once alone, I opened my laptop again and clicked on another folder labeled financial records. Unclad were detailed spreadsheets tracking wire transfers from accounts I didn't recognize to an offshore account. The transactions totaled nearly $300,000. At the bottom of one spreadsheet was a note in Ellie's handwriting. S&N both involved evidence on phone. Confronting them Tuesday, the day she died. As I stared at the screen, an email notification appeared from Ellie's account sent 20 minutes ago, but Ellie was dead. I clicked it open, my hands shaking. Liv, if you are reading this, I am probably dead. Timed email set to send if I don't reset it weekly. Don't trust them, don't trust anyone. The truth is in the storage unit tree under the loose floorboard in my closet. Be careful, love you always. El Tecta Reed was already waiting when I arrived at Riverside. Red eye, a tall man with tired eyes and a posture that suggested he rarely relaxed. Your sister came to me with suspicions about financial fraud, he explained after I sat down. She worked at Meridian Capital and believed she'd uncovered a money laundering operation. Involving who? I asked, though I already suspected the answer. She wouldn't say, not without concrete proof. She was gathering evidence. He studied me. The official ruling is accidental death, but I have questions. She wasn't alone that night, I said, a neighbor heard arguing. Reed nodded. I'm looking into it unofficially. Your sister was smart, cautious. If she was onto something big, someone might have wanted to silence her. Our eyes met in understanding. Be careful, he warned. If you find anything, come to me first. After meeting Reed, I drove to Ellie's apartment building. The superintendent let me in, watching sympathetically as I gathered more of her belongings. In her bedroom closet, I found a loose floorboard and underneath a small key taped to a business card for Secure and Young on 9th Street. Libby, how are you holding up? Mon had moved across the country after the divorce, pursuing a dream of desert living. I'm okay, I lied, just gathering Ellie's things. The police called with an update, she said. They found alcohol and sleep medication in her system. They think she was disoriented, maybe sleepwalking when she fell. My stomach tightened. Ellie didn't take sleeping pills, the detective said. They found prescriptions, honey. I know it's hard to accept, but it was an accident. Mom, something doesn't feel right. Will Libya stop? Her voice sharpened. I've already lost one daughter. I can't bear watching you spiral with conspiracy. Dearies, let it go, please. After hanging up, I sat on Ellie's bed fighting tears. Even my mother wanted me to stop investigating. That evening, Sophie arrived for dinner carrying wine and sympathy. She embraced me at the door, smelling of expensive perfume. Here is Nate, she asked casually. Business dinner, another. Lied told I'd checked his calendar. There was nothing scheduled. We settled in the living room with wine. Sophie looked around. Remember when we used to dream about having grown-up apartments like this? Now look at us. Ellie used to tease us about our 5-year plans, I said, watching her reaction. Sophie's smile faltered. She always had to one-up everyone. Sorry, I shouldn't speak ill of the dead. The casual cruelty stunned me. She wasn't like that. Of course not, Sophie backpedaled. Grief makes me say stupid things. I reached for the bottle, purposely knocking her purse over. I am so sorry. As expected, her phone tumbled out. While helping gather her things, I glimpsed her lock screen, a photo of her and Nate from years ago. Why keep that as her background? I need the bathroom, Sophie said. No much wine already. The moment she left, I grabbed her phone, 6 digits. 452,891. It worked. I quickly opened her messages, finding a thread with Nate from the night of Ellie's death. Sophie, she knows. Sophie, everything. Meeting her, attend, we'll fix it, Nate. Be careful, I'll handle the documents. Later that night, a final message. Sophie, it's done. Call me when you can. I heard the bathroom door open and quickly replaced the phone. My hands were shaking so badly I could barely pour more wine. You okay? Sophie asked, returning. You look pale. I forced a smile. Just tired and terrified. What had they done to my sister? I worry about you, she said, reaching for my hand. Impress me, you'll stop obsessing over Ellie's death. The police said it was an accident. I nodded, unable to speak. Later, after Sophie left, I sat alone in the dark, waiting for Nate to return from his business dinner. The key to Ellie's storage unit felt heavy in my pocket. Tomorrow, I would find the truth. Unit 247 was at the end of a long, fluorescent-lit hallway. The key turned smoothly in the lock, revealing a small space containing a file cabinet, a locked safe, and several cardboard boxes. I started with the file cabinet. Included were color-coded folders with names I recognized from Meridian Capital, where both Ellie and Nate worked, financial statements, investment portfolios, client records, all documenting systematic fraud. Money disappeared from legitimate accounts, briefly passed through shell companies, then emerged in offshore accounts. One name appeared repeatedly. Sophie Russell Confronting, my best friend's company, was the primary conduit for laundered funds. My phone buzzed with the text from Nate. Where are you? Came home for lunch, miss you? I didn't respond. In one folder labeled NW, I found something unexpected: photos of Nate and Sophie together, dated throughout the past year, dinners, hotel lobbies, intimate moments in what looked like an apartment I'd never seen. The betrayal cut deep, though somehow it wasn't surprising anymore. The safe required a combination. I tried Ellie's birthday. Nothing. Our childhood address. Then our mother's birthday. Click. Implied was a single USB drive and a letter addressed to me. Lef, if you are reading this, I couldn't fix this mess. I discovered the fraud scheme 3 months ago. Nate and Sophie have been stealing from clients for years. When I confronted them, they tried to buy my silence, then threatened me. I've gathered enough evidence to send to the sex, but wanted to warn you first. I know this will destroy you. I am so sorry. You deserved better than both of them. I love you. I is your big sister. Ellie. Tears blurred my vision. Ellie had been trying to protect me, even as she exposed the fraud. My phone rang. Detective Reed. We need to talk, he said urgently. the toxicology report came back. Your sister had triple the lethal dose of sleeping medication in her system. No one accidentally takes that much. She was murdered, I whispered. We're reopening the investigation. Where are you? Before I could answer, I heard footsteps approaching. Through the partially open door, I glimpsed Sophie walking down the hallway, checking unit numbers. I have to go, I whispered, ending the call. I shoved the letter and USB drive into my pocket and slipped behind a stack of boxes just as Sophie entered. She moved efficiently, going straight to the file cabinet. Where is it? She muttered, rifling through folders. Fangirl it, Ellie. My phone vibrated in my pocket. Sophie froze, listening. I held my breath. After an agonizing minute, she resumed searching, finding nothing. She slammed the door shut and left. I waited 5 minutes before emerging, heart pounding. I needed somewhere safe to review the USB contents, not home where Nate could find me. As I reached my car, another text came through from an unknown number. I know what you found. Meeting me at Blackbird Calais in 30 minutes. Come alone. For M, who was M? It could be a trap, but I had no choice. I needed answers. Blackbird Calais was crowded when I arrived. I scanned the room, unsure who I was looking for. Olivia? I turned to find a woman about Ellie's age with short dark hair. I am Maya. I worked with your sister at Meridian. We need to talk. We found a quiet corner table. Willie trusted me, she explained. She showed me evidence of what Nate and Sophie were doing. I helped her document everything. Why didn't you go to the police? We were building a case. Corporate fraud is hard to prove without ironclad evidence. She leaned closer. The night Ellie died, she texted me that she was meeting Sophie. She was going to confront her one last time before going to the sexy, and Sophie killed her. The words felt surreal. Maya's eyes darted around nervously. I don't know exactly what happened, but I received this an hour after Ellie's time of death. She showed me a text. If anything happens to me, everything goes to Olivia. Tell her about the backup drive. I don't know, but Nate and Sophie have been frantically searching for something. They know Ellie had evidence beyond what's in the storage unit. As Maya spoke, I noticed a familiar figure entering the coffee shop. Nate. Our eyes met across the room and his expression shifted from surprise to something darker. We need to leave, I whispered. Now Olivia, Nate called, striding toward us. I've been worried sick. You weren't answering your phone. Maya tensed beside me. Don't let him know what you found, she whispered. I forced a smile. Sorry, I needed space. This is Maya, Ellie's friend from work. Recognition flashed in Nate's eyes. Maya Patel, he said coolly. From compliance? Mr. Winters, she nodded, gathering her things. I was just offering condolences. She squeezed my hand meaningfully. Call me if you need anything. After she left, Nate sat across from me, eyes searching mine. What were you really talking about, Allie? I said truthfully. Maya's helping me understand who my sister was at work and the storage unit. What did you find there? Ice flooded my veins. How did he know Sophie saw your car there? He explained, reading my expression. We've been worried about you, Liv. This obsession with Ellie's death isn't healthy obsession, I repeated. My sister was murdered, Nate. His face hardened. The police ruled it an accident. The toxicology report says otherwise. Detective Reed is reopening the case. Something dangerous flashed in his eyes. Reed has no jurisdiction. He's been harassing Meridian for months with baseless accusations. They're not baseless, I said, watching his reaction. I know about the fraud, Nate. I know about you and Sophie. His expression shifted, the mask slipping to reveal calculation, then softening into remorse so perfect it might have fooled me days ago. It's not what you think, he said, reaching for my hand. I pulled away. Sophie and I made mistakes. Yes, the affair was wrong. But Ellie was blackmailing us, threatening to destroy everything unless we paid her. Liar, I whispered. Ellie would never. Your sister wasn't the saint you thought, he insisted. She discovered our financial irregularities and saw an opportunity. She wanted money to stay quiet, and Sophie killed her for it. Nate's eyes widened with well-practiced shock. Number God, Olivia, you can't seriously think I saw the text, Nate. It's done. The night Ellie died. He stood abruptly. We can't talk here. Come home with me. I'll explain everything. I'll not going anywhere with you. His voice lowered. If you go to the police with your theories, you'll only embarrass yourself. We have friends in the department. Who do you think they'll believe, a grief-stricken sister with conspiracy theories or two respected financial professionals? As I stared at him, my phone buzzed with a text from Maya. Don't go anywhere with him. Meeting at police station, 4 p.m. Bring everything. I need time to think, I told Nate. Of course, he said, the perfect understanding husband again. I'll be at home when you are ready to talk. I watched him leave, then immediately called Detective Reed. I have evidence bond of it. Meet me at the station, he said, and watch her back. Outside, rain had started falling. I hurried to my car, mind racing at a read. As I approached, I noticed Sophie leaning against the driver's door. Going somewhere? She asked coldly. I need to be alone, Sophie, so you can take Ellie's lies to the police. She stepped closer. We were friends long before Nate, before Ellie stuck her nose where it didn't belong. I protected you by keeping you out of this. Protected me. You killed my sister. I didn't push her, Sophie hissed. I just helped her make a choice. The medication was her idea. She was distraught about what she discovered. I simply made sure she took enough. Nausea rose in my throat. You watched her die. It was meant to look like suicide. The fall was unfortunate. She wasn't supposed to go out on the balcony. Her eyes hardened. Now you have a choice. The evidence disappears. You inherit Ellie's share of our arrangement and we all move forward. Or you follow your sister's path. Over Sophie's shoulder, I noticed Maya watching from her car across the street. Our eyes met briefly. I need to think, I said, echoing what I told Nate. Sophie smiled icily. Smart girl, tomorrow night, our place. We'll sort everything out. As she walked away, I knew I had less than 24 hours before they realized I wouldn't cooperate. My hands shook as I texted Maya. On my way to the station, I never made it there. Halfway down the block, a dark Ezri pulled alongside me. The window lowered, revealing Nate at the wheel. Get in, Olivia. Now I ran, but someone grabbed me from behind. A hand clamped over my mouth, a sharp prick in my neck, and darkness descended. I woke to the sound of water. My eyes adjusted to dim light filtering through curtains. Ellie's apartment. I was on her couch, hands bound in front of me with zip ties. Finally, Sophie sighed, sitting across from me. The sedative was stronger than necessary. Nate. He emerged from the kitchen looking haggard. Had to make sure she wouldn't cause problems during transport. My throat felt like sandpaper. Why, here poetic, isn't it? Sophie smiled. Where it all began, where it all ends. The grieving sister, overwhelmed by loss, follows her sibling's tragic path. The balcony door stood open, curtains billowing in the night breeze. No one will question it, Nate, added Sam, building same emotional fragility. I tested my restraints. You won't get away with this. Sophie laughed. We already did with Ellie. The police closed her case in 2 days. They've reopened it, I countered. Detective Reed knows everything, Nate. And Sophie exchanged glances. She's bluffing, Sophie decided. Reed has nothing concrete. What about the evidence I sent to the sex this morning? I gambled. Nate paled. What evidence? I smiled despite my fear. Everything, Nate. The transfers, the shell companies, the client accounts, even the recording of Sophie admitting she gave Ellie an overdose. Sophie lunged forward, grabbing my hair. You are lying. We checked your phone, your email. Not my sister's accounts, I bluffed. Ellie set up timed emails with everything attached. Now they've gone to the SECUS, the FBI, and every financial news outlet. It was a desperate lie, but doubt crept into their expressions. Check her again, Sophie ordered Nate. She must have the backup drive. As Nate searched my pockets, Sophie paced nervously. Even if she sent something, we can claim it was doctored, her word against ours, and Maya's, I added. She has copies too. Sophie froze. Maya from compliance. What does she know? Everything, I said. She and Ellie were building the case together. Nate cursed. You said Ellie was working alone. She was? Sophie snapped. Maya's nobody. Their argument escalated, attention momentarily diverted from me. I worked at the zip ties, feeling them give slightly. We need to leave the country, Nate decided. The contingency plan. What about her? Sophie nodded toward me. Nate's expression hardened, same as Ellie. Make it look like suicide. Sophie approached with a glass of water. Drink this. It's easier than fighting. I knocked it away. I won't make it easy for you. Have it your way, she sighed, reaching into her purse. A loud knock at the door startled us all. Police, open up. Sophie yanked me up, pressing something sharp against my ribs. Not a sound more pounding. Olivia Chen, Detective Reed. We know you are in there. How? Nate hissed. The answer came in a buzzing from my jacket. The phone they'd missed in their search. Find it, Sophie ordered, dragging me toward the balcony. Nate discovered the phone in my inner pocket screen, displaying an active call to Detective Reed. You bitch, he seethed as the door splintered open. Everything happened at once. Officers swarming and Sophie pulling me toward the balcony's edge, Nate lunging for an escape. Let her go, Sophie. Reed commanded. Gun raised. Back off, Sophie shouted, pressing the blade harder. We're walking out of here. In that crucial moment, I thought of Ellie, my protector, until the end. With sudden clarity, I drove my elbow into Sophie's stomach and twisted away as she gasped in pain. We both tumbled to the balcony floor as officers rushed forward. Olivia Reed pulled me to safety while others subdued Sophie. Nate had already been tackled in the hallway trying to flee. As they led Sophie away in handcuffs, she locked eyes with me. You'll never prove it was murder, never. We don't need to, Reed said. The fraud charges alone will put you away for decades. And we have your confession from the phone call. Hours later, sitting in Reed's office wrapped in a blanket, I finally allowed myself to cry for Ellie, for the friendships and marriage built on lies, for the truth that had cost my sister her life. Maya's testimony will be crucial, Reed explained. She's been gathering evidence for months working with Ellie. So the backup drive is real, he nodded. Ellie mailed it to your mother in Arizona the day before she died. Insurance bomb knew not everything. Ellie told her to keep it safe, that it was evidence of workplace harassment. Your mother sent it to us this morning after I convinced her of the truth. In the weeks that followed, as Nate and Sophie awaited trial, I returned to Ellie's apartment one last time, standing on the balcony where she took her final breath. I felt her presence beside me. I got them, Elle, I whispered, just like you would have done for me. The future remained uncertain. The trial would be painful, exposing every betrayal. My marriage was over. My closest friendship revealed as a toxic lie. But somewhere in the wreckage, I'd found my sister again, her courage, her determination, her protection extending beyond death. As I locked the apartment for the final time, my phone buzzed with a message from an unknown number, a video file. I opened it to find Ellie's face filling the screen, recorded weeks before her death. Liv, if you are watching this, I couldn't fix things in time. I am sorry to put this burden on you, but I know you'll find the truth. You are stronger than you think, stronger than I ever was. I love you, little sister. Wiles have always will. The screen went dark, but Ellie's words remained guiding me forward. Some betrayals can never be forgiven, but some bonds never break, even in death.